even those of you who had honors chemistry last semester, this is old information. So whether you had it last semester or last year or the year before that, we definitely need to review it, and it is easy, so that's good. So there is a correct way and an incorrect way to record a measurement, and it matters more in AP Chemistry because the numbers that you record are going to affect how exact you're going to be able to answer a question. The more digits you have, the better. Okay, but there's a limit to how many digits you can write down, and it depends on how exact your piece of equipment is. So, for example, a ruler goes to the tenths place. So, like if we're looking at this very super clear image of a pencil, okay, we know it's 8 centimeters, and if you're reading the tick marks, it definitely goes to the 2/10. Okay, but it's not 0.3. Like, it's not 3/10, but it's not really 0.2 either. It's in between. So we have what we call a degree of uncertainty, where you're allowed to guess a number. The 8 and the 2 are known. Every single person looking at that pencil would write down 8.2. This digit is going to be a little bit of a variable. So some people might put 8.24, some people might put 8.26, but it doesn't matter. Okay, obviously those numbers are all really, really close, and that's not really going to change your answer, but what it does change is that there are 3 significant numbers to that measurement instead of only 2. If you record the length of that pencil as 8.2, you're limiting how much you can give in an answer because this digit gives you a little bit more freedom. And this is something that every piece of digital equipment you've ever used, anytime you've ever gone to the doctor's office and stood on the scale, every time you get a read of a measurement from any piece of equipment, the last number on that piece of equipment is the guessed number. Okay, no matter how exact or precise something is, it always has to round up at the end. So for this, you would need to have 2 decimal places instead of 1 because you already know 1 decimal place. If you're reading a graduated cylinder, you have a little bit less to work with. Okay, between 60 and 70, there's 10 tick marks. That means that each tick mark is not worth a decimal, it's worth 1. So anybody looking at this would write down 63 if you were reading it the right way. Okay, you're looking at the bottom of the meniscus. It's between 63 and 64. So this time, your uncertain number is the first decimal place. So maybe you would say 63.4, whatever. Okay, some of you would write 63.5, some people might say 63.6, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, what matters is that we have 2 numbers that are known and 1 number that is a little bit uncertain. But what that gives you is 3 digits instead of only 2. Okay, if you record 63 as a number, then you have to stick with 2 digits because you've left one of them off. So triple beam balance, okay, you take the big number, then you add this one, and then you add that one. So it's definitely 272. Everybody should get the same thing for that. And then if you're reading, this is a lot like the ruler. The tick marks are worth a tenth. Okay, it looks, in my opinion, like it doesn't quite get to 1/10. So it's really 0.0, and it's very close to 1/10. Okay, this is different than 272.1. Okay, this is 4 numbers, this is 5 numbers. That's the reason why it matters in your math. And that'll make more sense in the next video. Okay, one last example, thermometer. Okay, this is a little bit more like the graduated cylinder, so it only gives you ones, which means you really only get 1 decimal place. In my opinion, obviously the 1 is there, and then the next number would be a 7. Some of you might say it's exactly 17. Some of you might say 17.1. Either one would be acceptable. What matters is that there is 1 decimal place. Okay, yes, you did sort of guess these numbers, but that number becomes significant because you guessed them. And they will count as significant digits in the math that we do in the next video.